And hello and welcome. Hi, hello. And for some of you, welcome back. For others, it's just welcome. I'm Jim Irizarry. This is Jim on Sports. My goal over the next... This takes... I actually have no idea how long these daily podcasts are going to take. This is the first one. This is the first one I've done. It's probably going to vary day to day. Probably going to vary. So, it could be, wham bam, done in 30 minutes. Could take us 2 hours. I don't know. I don't know. All right. We'll figure that out together, though. My goal over the next, over the course of today, every day that I hope to do this, is maybe that you hear an opinion of a fan. Not necessarily the fan. It's not, the voice of the fan. But just, this fan, really. This isn't going to be the real deep X's and O's sort of specialty show that you get from like an On 3 or a Locked In show or anything like that. Not that there's anything wrong with those shows. They all serve a purpose. They all have viewers, listeners. I happen to know a couple of guys who do a Locked In show. If there's something that I want to go deep on, don't worry. I'll have someone on from one of those shows and proceed to ask them dumb questions. So, the kind of question that I probably have, absolutely no business asking, really. But it's just gonna happen. It's just gonna happen. For those who have tuned into to prior runs of this little show, you know that I like to go on what's called a deep dork deep dive. Basically, when those happen, everything grinds to a halt. I immediately just start crawling down a wormhole, trying to find out more about whatever it is that has suddenly sparked my interest. The shiny new keychain that is jingling, just over my eyes. It could be really sudden too. And yes, I do have ADHD. All right, I was diagnosed with ADHD before it was cool. All right, I'm talking like 1989, 1990. Like I was a kid, and ADHD wasn't it wasn't the cool buzzword that it is now. It was so long ago that the word buzzword didn't exist. If you can picture a time like that. Regardless, I've been dealing with it since then, but it really doesn't take much for me to go off script at a moment's notice. So there's that. Otherwise, I'm going to talk about the things in the sports world that interest me, that most likely also interest you. And I like to do that with something that I like to call the quick hits, and let's get into those now, shall we? So one of those things that I'm sure that you'll hear about today is that ESPN's instituting yet another round of layoffs. This round affecting a number of on-air people, too. It's not just, the behind-the-camera folks. It's, front-facing folks. Carl Ravitch, who's been there for 30 years. At least 30 years, I think, right? He's out the door today. It leaked late yesterday afternoon that this round was going to be happening because word got out that Ryan Clark, the former Pittsburgh Steeler, is now a former NFL analyst for the Worldwide Leader. That was weird, too. That he was right in the middle of doing an episode of NFL Live. And they pulled him off in the middle of it. I guess word got out, and he didn't want to find out. They didn't want him to find out from somebody online, which, okay, that's commendable, at least. Maybe don't have that kind of leak in your boat, maybe. Just you know, little things there. Tom Pelissero of the NFL Network, which ESPN recently bought from the NFL in exchange for a 10% stake in the league. He's out. Cam Newton, former Heisman Trophy winner, former Carolina Panthers quarterback, legendary New England Patriot, and also wearer of funny hats. He would wear those on First Take. He's out. The list is only growing. It's not a good day for those of us in sports media in general. They say that it's because of the NFL Network acquisition, and it's an elimination of redundancies and yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. It's really because they have to pay $60 million a year to Pat McAfee. He's getting all that money to give us yet more, more hot takes, and have AJ Hawk sit in a room and stare at his laptop for 2 or 3 hours a day. That's what I gather, anyway. If I seem less than enthused about all of it, it's pretty disheartening to see the biggest thing in sports choose to go with that as opposed to growing its own talent bank. I get it. It's a lot cheaper to outsource your material as opposed to cultivate it. I get it. I'm on the business side of that, even. I work at WSBT Radio in South Bend, Indiana. I'm the director of news and sports content. My afternoon show is a collaboration between us and one of the Notre Dame news sites around here. So I get it. And yeah, it's significantly, it helps my budget. I'm not going to lie. It's better to go out, buy the established thing and air that instead of, try to do it yourself. I get it. It's just the way things are right now. That said, it sucks. It sucks for a lot of talented people. And Cam Newton, who are getting shown the door today after decades of service to one place. There's no loyalty anymore. And this is all, applicable to everything. All right? Everybody is a line item in your company spreadsheet. It's all you are anymore. I'm a line item. You're a line. Your mom and dad are line items. Your dogs are line items, etc., etc. It sucks to hear that. It sucks to say it. I've been part of a layoff. In fact, I was the very first person in a layoff, too. It sucked. Fortunately, it's only been one. Knocking on wood. Hopefully, it doesn't happen again. Also knocking on wood. I'm also not going to be surprised if and when it does happen again. That's just the nature of what we do in media right now. That's the business. To be perfectly honest, it's why I'm striking out on my own with this thing while I'm still gainfully employed. No time like the present to see if I can actually make a go of this or start, maybe looking at another backup plan, When I was laid off all those years ago, and seriously, it's like at least, it's been like 15 years or so. When I was laid off, I was able to go back to school and get my bachelor's degree. Finished that up after letting it sit for way too long. I'm not going to lie. I'm not sure if I have going for a master's in me. I'll do it if it helps. If it helps, my budget. But I'm just going to keep, How real is the possibility that the SEC could break away from the NCAA? Pretty real. The conference's regents and presidents and whatnot have been talking about that very thing since their spring meetings. a few months ago, and now we're getting more talk yesterday. Greg Sankey was up on stage yesterday at SEC Media Days, saying it's not a leverage point. As the SEC and Big Ten talk to Congress about the Save College Sports Act. That's right, the Save College Sports Act. When the NCAA wants to save itself, they go to Congress. They'll get it done. The preference is to work together to improve the Protect College Sports Act. Greg Sankey said that the SEC has offered 10 common sense suggestions that center on 4 key principles. And I'm just going to read this verbatim off of my teleprompter. National standards that must be enforceable, a national framework to limit state laws that are meant to circumvent rules, transparency and accountability, and establishing fair and consistent standards for organizations while preserving voluntary decision-making. One of the portions of the bill that the SEC is firmly against would allow conferences the option to pool their media rights, and there's been extended conversation about current language, concerning super leagues, the formation of super leagues. Pete Bavacqua, the athletic director at Notre Dame, pretty much gave a plan in front of Congress on how to form a super league. Like, just that. Like, I don't know if that was diarrhea of the mouth or if he meant to answer their questions like that. But he did it, back a few months ago. Both the SEC and the Big Ten have asked for changes to the bill in order to support its passage in Congress. Regardless, the SEC and probably the Big Ten as well, they're the 2 big power brokers. Those 2 breaking away isn't going to happen anytime soon. This is not. There's so many legal hurdles around that. It would take years to sort it all out. Honestly, how many recruiting cycles would it take to sort all that out? Over under 6.5? I'm not talking I'm talking like yearly recruiting cycles too. Like, not just for each sport. I mean, that would, no problem. Man, each... It's a lot. Cool, my phone just went off. I am a professional. Kyle Teel of the White Sox, he got hurt last night. White Sox, of course, have been playing out of their minds all season. They're leading the AL Central right now, in case you haven't been paying attention. But Kyle Teel, their catcher, he hurt his ankle last night, likely headed to the injured list. Injured while trying to apply a tag in the second inning of Chicago's 10-3 victory over the Texas Rangers. He was helped off the field, put no weight on the ankle. Hopefully that's not a sign of, serious... You don't want to see him get hurt. You hope that he just turned it kind of bad, maybe sprained it. But when you're putting no weight on... that could be anything, man. That could be anything from a sprain to a bone bruise to an Achilles, to a broken foot. Who knows? He's played just 19 games this season. He was part of the Garrett Crochet trade that they made with the Red Sox a couple of years ago. Kyle Teel was one of the Red Sox. Trying to remember if he made the show by that point or if he was at AAA and maybe going back and forth, something like that. But he was high on their list. He was a big prospect for them. He was their next great catcher, and he was involved in the Garrett Crochet trade with the White Sox that has wound up being pretty beneficial to the White Sox. But he's just played in 19 games because of hamstring and knee injuries. batting a .190, 2 homers, 14 RBIs. Last year, he batted .273 with 8 homers, 35 RBIs in 78 games. So that's a little bit more indicative of what he can do, of what he can be and do. But unfortunately, he's headed to the. A guy who's just headed out is Warde Manuel, the athletic director of Michigan. The big the big review that Michigan had, that they enlisted a big Chicago law firm over and cost Michigan taxpayers probably millions of dollars. I think the number like right now is 12 million. Awesome. It was a culture that where reporting and accountability apparently weren't meeting university expectations. So they offered him the buyout, basically, and he gets to leave at the end of the year. There you go. So that is that. And that's it for today. That's it for today. Isn't that simple? Isn't that easy? Again, I don't want to take up a bunch of your time. But that's basically the gist of what Jim on Sports is and will be. All right. I hope to have this up every weekday by 2 p.m. Eastern. As I do this right now, it's 1:30 p.m. Eastern. Let's see how my internet connection is today. YouTube, Twitch, Facebook Live. Probably already too late to get this up on time. It happens. Being Mr. ADHD and all. I'm also trying to juggle this and regular job. So, give me a little slack here. JimOnSports.com, that's where you can go for everything having to do with this little program. Sign up for the newsletter. I'm not going to sell your email address either. That's just annoying. That's a dick move. I won't do that. Links to socials everywhere. Everywhere I am online anyway. All right there. JimOnSports.com. So, there you go. And that's Jim on Sports. I'm Jim. I'll see you tomorrow right here on Jim on Sports.